Oh, I was gonna ask if you had followed college basketball at all.
Um, Not really. Like honestly, I don't really start paying attention until March Madness comes up, and that's
Yeah.
mostly
So
because I'm able to kind of do my research and understand like, okay, these teams are the ones who are outstanding. These ones could be underdogs, or like, what do they call them? They call it oh, what's the phrase they used? For,
sleeper picks,
no, it's like yeah. What's another name for like an underdog team?
a
It
sleeper.
is this I feel like that's not the right word. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, anyway, like I kind of like want to see what teams become the underdog. Like last season, I really wanted OSU, Oregon State University, to go all the way
Hmm.
because I am kind of a supporter of Beavers and the Beavers, and so I was really excited to see that they were in the tournament, and so they made pretty far too. And I think they had, was it, oh no, am I thinking of a different team? No, I think it was OSU. They had two brothers, and they just and just coincidentally, like the brothers were like, one of them was the same age as me, and the other was the same age as my brother. but and so I thought it was really cool seeing OSU make it pretty far into it. And then of course Gonzaga, they're a Washington team. They've been good for a long time, but I think if you look back at that tournament, the competition that they were going up against was not nearly as competitive until like the second to last game they were playing, and then when they got into like the final game, into the
Lost
championship
to
round, they
Baylor.
lost badly. I mean, they got their butts whooped, and it's like, oh my god, Gonzaga, what are you doing? Um,
Yeah, Baylor's good. Yeah, Baylor's really good. I had a feeling Baylor was going to win that game. Yeah, I'm the exact same way when it comes to college basketball. I mean, like college basketball and college, like I wish I was more into it, and I definitely watch it towards the end, especially when it comes to March Madness for basketball and college playoffs and all the bowl games for college or football. But I mean, like I follow the Huskies, and once they got, oh my gosh, what's his name? The coach that they got from Mike Hopkins, is that his name? I believe he's a
it
basketball
might
coach for
be.
the
I can do a
Huskies. They
research.
got him. I think he's from Syracuse, and that was like a big deal at the time. And they got into a tournament, I think in 2019.
Yeah, Mike
So yeah,
Hopkins.
something. Yeah, it was 2019. I think they lost to Oregon, and that was a big bummer. But yeah, I mean, like when it comes to college basketball and college football compared to the pros, I feel like they definitely try harder, and it's really fun watching like the underdogs, those teams make a run, especially in the whenever March rolls around. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I wish I liked college basketball more, and I think honestly it's just the fact that like watching, I was watching it as a kid, and I remember when the Huskies had Terrence Ross and Tony Roten together, and then the year before that was whenever they had Isaiah Thomas, and he hit that beater in the Pac-10 championship against
Mm.
Arizona. Yeah, that's one of the. Yeah, I remember Gus Johnson going cold blooded. That just gave me chills. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'll always remember that.
It's funny when I looked up Mike Hopkins, the first thing that comes up is some article posted 6 days ago that says Washington Huskies men's basketball coach Mike Hopkins is in COVID-19 protocol and will miss UW's meeting with Oregon State. The program announced Thursday afternoon, so he has COVID right now. Well, that was 6 days
Uh,
ago, so maybe he's already out of it. But
and he
but I,
might go to Oregon State.
no, 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 no. The meeting with Oregon State, like I think, they're gonna have a
Oh,
game
okay, an
game
actual
against
meeting.
them.
I thought he was that for like a business, like a meeting, like a
No,
job interview.
no, no.
My
Uh,
bad.
yeah, it's okay. But yeah, yeah, basketball. I think I've always enjoyed playing basketball a little bit more than football. But to be fair, like I've always played basketball since I was a little kid, whereas football I didn't start playing until I was an eighth grader. And so, really, when I became an eighth, let's see, I'm trying to think of a time frame here. So I played football, high school football anyway, my eighth grade, ninth grade, and then I think when at 10th grade, when I was a sophomore, uh, I think like that's when I started really getting into football because I kind of just did it because I was kind of like interested in it. I didn't really, I don't know. I really didn't know much about football, honestly, like until I started playing it. And then like I just started to get into a lot more. Now, of course, now that I'm not playing football anymore, I pay a lot more close attention to the NFL. Not nearly as close as you, Tristan, though, but I mean,
Bro,
but yeah.
do you remember in sixth grade when Dab King was our basketball coach and his dad was?
Well, week six. Yes, yes, I do. I do remember that.
Yeah. And we were called the Spartans. Like our jerseys were neon
It
green.
was this ugly color. Yeah, it was really
Yeah,
bad.
it's so bad.
I remember I did this one post move. It was like it's like not even that good of a post move either. But like, I mean, I was obviously terrible. I mean, I was not good at playing basketball no matter what. But yeah, I remember that year. The most vivid memory I have was I think it was against at home, or gosh, I'll have to blur that out, but or censored it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were playing them at home, and I got the ball kind of like up at the top of the kind of like top of the key or something, and I remember I turn around and the defender's like facing me or whatever, and then like I totally do like a pump fake, and he like completely fell for it. I don't know how he fell for that. I don't even think it was that good of a pump fake, and I literally just like I just loop around him and dribble it and make a lay in, and I just remember like everyone being so impressed. Like it was so surprising that I did that. But and I was like, and yeah, I was like kind of impressed with myself too. I'm like, did I just really do that? Like for me, like in that moment, like I didn't even like really think about doing it. I just did it, and I'm just like, oh wow, it actually like worked. I mean, obviously, like it's not even really that impressive of a move, but back then for me, it was kind of a big deal. And that was like probably my most vivid memory playing basketball in sixth grade.
Yeah. A decade ago, good times.
Do you remember? I think seventh grade. Cause yeah, you were there seventh grade, right?
Yeah.
When we played basketball. Do you remember when Dab King would like chuck the ball across the court and nobody can catch it?
Yeah, I was the only one that I could catch it because him and I always played catch with each other like football.
Well,
And he always throw ducks to me, but he'd always throw the ball really hard, and he'd throw basketball just as hard, and I'd have to catch it, but even then I would flinch.
I mean, yeah, because he would throw it way too. It was too hard, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. But honestly, did we even win any games like our excuse me, not sixth grade, seventh grade year? I don't even think we won any games.
No, we lost. We lost to our rival, whose name was blurred out earlier. We lost to them by a point.
Yeah.
Do you remember that game? You shot 4 free throws at the end of the game and you missed all 4 of them.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to embarrass. No, it's okay. It's fine. No, yeah. I obviously was not good. I mean, I was just not good. Like honestly, looking back then, like I didn't really try to get better, if I'm being completely honest with you. To be fair, though, like I didn't really get great advice from our coaches either. Like our coach seventh grade year wasn't great, to be honest with you. And I feel like I never really had like a good mentor or a good coach to like train me to become a good post player until I got into high school. I started actually even in high school, I really didn't like have much better training. I like really like the only reason why my senior year I looked a little bit better than the previous years is just because like I knew my senior year was my last year and I wanted to go like 100% like every single practice and every single game, and I think that's why I improved a lot more, not because anybody was trying to coach me. Like I think there was my sophomore year, there was somebody who tried helping me coach, and I actually really do appreciate him because we would like kind of go into these groups where we're kind of like, it's kind of like football where like the linemen will do their drills, the receivers do their drills, quarterback do their drills, whatever. It was kind of like we kind of did something like that, I think, my sophomore year in basketball. And I remember this one guy who was helping out coaching, he would show me a lot of different post moves, and I really wish what he showed me, I wish someone would have taught me that stuff at an earlier age, because it really did help me, I think, in the long run, and I definitely understood the post position a lot more than I did before. And like, I was just not capable of being like a wing. Maybe I could be a wing, but like I wasn't that great of a dribbler. I wasn't like nearly as fast as anybody else on the team, or especially a point guard. I definitely could never be a point guard. And so yeah, the post position was just something that I knew that I was just going to stick with it. Also, like even though I'm only 6'2", I was like one of the tallest people at our school, which is kind of embarrassing if you think about, because 6'2" really isn't that tall. So of course I was always forced into the post position. But yeah, like it was just it's, oh my goodness, I just cannot tell you like how much I wish I would have tried better back when I was a kid, but I just never had anybody to like motivate me to be better. I don't know, it was kind of a shame.
Yeah, 7th grade year was the last year I played, and I remember because I got sick towards the end of the year, and I missed the last 2 games, and one of those games we played our rival team again, and they barely beat us, and like multiple people, like a couple of my friends were like, dude, if you were there, we would have won, and like they said they thought I was faking being sick. And now that I look back, that was the last time I ever played basketball, and it kind of bums me out because the eighth grade year I tore my ACL,
Oh,
And so I
right.
wasn't able to play with you guys doing JV. And then freshman year, I went to a different school, and you had to make the team, and I was not good at basketball by then. And I
Oh,
did not make the team. It
okay.
was
That's
bad.
another. That's actually another thing I wanted to bring up really quickly. You just briefly mentioned how in eighth grade we could have practiced, or I mean, could we have played on JV our eighth grade year for high school basketball? I can't. I don't know. Like I heard something about how we were allowed to practice with them, but I don't know if we could participate in games and stuff like that. But guess what? Nobody fucking told me that. No one fucking
Yeah.
told me I could have practiced with the high schoolers as an eighth grader for basketball. And I remember I think by the time someone told me, it was kind of already too late, and I'm just kind of like, what? Like, how come nobody does no like, to me it just kind of felt like nobody gave a shit, like nobody fucking wanted me like to get better. And it's just, and I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I never like tried getting better, is because I just felt like nobody really cared enough for me to like put in more effort. And so when I heard about eighth graders who could practice on the basketball team, and obviously just train and get better, it kind of bummed me out, because I was like, really, I could have practiced with them this whole time. But oh well. I mean, obviously it's all in the past. It doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, sports is, I think was a huge deal for both of us growing up. I mean, you probably played. You did. What's it called? Like little league football or whatever.
Yeah, I did football since I was 8. I mean, I did basketball since I was like 7. I quit doing basketball after seventh grade was the last year I played. Then after that, I mean, then again, I didn't do much coaching. I didn't really put in any effort to get better at it. So after that, I just was never good at basketball after that.
Yeah.
But like football was the one sport I really cared about, and that was the one like I watched like every game, like college and NFL, and I was just obsessed with it.
Yeah, I wish I would have played football back in like little league, like you said, when you were like 8 years old or something. I wish I could have done something like that, but I never. I don't know. Like I remember, I actually find it kind of funny because like back in elementary school, I remember going to like one of your guys' practice, and I remember watching from like outside the fence, like what you guys are doing, and I just remember just feeling intimidated, and I just never didn't feel interested in playing football, and so like obviously I didn't try out until I was an eighth grader, until for a high school team. And I really wish I would have just played. I wish I would have had the guts as a kid to play when I was a kid, but I don't know. I do definitely look back and regret on. So now, of course, like whenever I have kids, I'm going to be that one parent who's going to force my kids to play sports.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna force my. I'm definitely gonna give them up. Like that's the thing. Like my parents didn't necessarily force me, but like my dad became the coach for Pee Wee, so he was the coach my first 2 years of football. And I wanted to play, and like my first year, I was so bad, dude. I remember Carter and I were both on a team together, and both him and I didn't have a single tackle. I was scared. I was always playing scared. And my second year, and I made a couple tackles, and I definitely improved, but I still wasn't good. And then I didn't play again until I was 12, and I was getting at least a couple tackles every game. Then I started to get more comfortable, and then once high school rolled around, I was a lot more confident. I felt a lot better about myself. But like my first couple of years, yeah, I just sucked. And after that, I didn't like sports for a little bit. But I just kept practicing, and I was never like super good, but I definitely like improved after each year because I wanted to improve. Not just with
Yeah.
football, but any sport I actually like put effort into.
Yeah, I really wish I had that mindset as a kid. And actually, now that I just think about it, I think I did have I think I did have some people, not, they didn't criticize me, but back then I took it as criticism. They were definitely giving me feedback on like how I can improve, like whether that's like how I shoot or just how I play as a post position. These were just people who would just watch me in the stands and stuff like that. But every time I would sometimes hear this feedback, I would always take it as criticism, and I'd get pissed off, and I just never really listened to them. And I really wish I would have listened more as a kid.
Hmm.
And oh my gosh, it does bother me a little bit. But still, at the same time, especially when I entered middle school and high school, I felt like I didn't have any coaches to help me focus to get better. And I really wish that was the case. Even though, obviously, like I already said, once I became a senior, I eventually like started busting my butt a lot more just because it was like my last year. But of course, I know I'm not the only one out there. I know there's a lot of other people like me out there who wish they would have tried a little bit harder at sports when they're in high school, because of course once it's you don't really realize it's over until it's actually over, and you're not gonna be able to go back and have that experience again. And I remember I think I was talking to like one of our classmates like a couple years after we already graduated high school, but they asked me what my favorite part of high school was, and I said sports. Like, I did not give a shit about anything else about high school except for sports, even though I didn't try as hard as I could have, but it was the one thing that I felt like really kept me up every day, and I felt like it was something that was really consistent every single year, and it was just something that I really did look forward to, even though I wasn't that greatest player. And I would definitely say that was my biggest highlight, even though of course we didn't have like a great team or anything. Like, we never, it's not like we entered playoffs like every single year or something, but but it was like, that was definitely a huge motivating factor for me to just wake up every day, was to actually go ahead and go to practice and actually go to games, because it was entertaining to me. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that was the cool thing about being in a small town too, is like whenever it came to sports, like even though the teams were small and if a couple people got injured, we'd have to forfeit. Like it came down to that, and
Oh
I was always kind of
yeah.
nervous. But I mean, that never really that never happened, at least in my experience playing games there. But yeah, but that was always like up for debate. That was always in the conversation. Like if a couple people get hurt, we'll have to forfeit. But I never saw see it actually happen. But the cool thing is like being in a small town, the teams were smaller, so we were all pretty close with each other. Like I can think of
Hmm.
like at least one memory with each person on our team.
Yeah, and for those of you who are listening to this and don't actually know us personally, you know, our school, like when it came to trying out for a sport, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to get cut. Like, we just there's not enough people that go to our school who first of all, there's not a lot of people who go to our school, period. But then you take this, like, the quarter of those students, hell, maybe even like half the students played sports in our school, actually. But
Yeah, yeah, it's more
even
common.
then, like, there wasn't any room to cut people. We were always looking to have more people join our team. If
Yeah,
anything, that just
everybody
helps
made
us
the
out
team.
even more. And of course, one thing that really sucked about playing football, especially like I would say our last couple of years in high school, was that there was not enough people turning out to where we had to turn not only to like a JV team, but we also had to become an 8-man team. And during practice, when we would run like offensive drills or whatever, there wasn't anybody else on the other side of the line to go up against. And that
No.
sucked. But when I first turned out for football, my 8th grade year, probably from my 8th grade to sophomore year, we definitely did have both people on both sides of the line to turn out for. But after that, our junior, senior year, yeah, there was like nobody turned out for football. It just started to go downhill. Like, and it's kind of weird how that happened. And I fully admit, actually, myself, that I originally quit playing football my junior year. I was not going to turn out. And then I just remember, like, I was mowing the lawn one day, and then like halfway through, I like took a break and looked at my phone, and my brother texted me, because he played on the team, and he was saying something about how, like, if you want to play again, you would have to show up to practice today and go to every single practice if you want to play in the first game. And for some reason, that text message really motivated me, and like kind of like just I just realized to myself, I'm like, okay, you know what? I really do miss playing football. So I literally I just left the lawnmower there, and I like started grabbing like my old cleats or whatever. My dad asked me, he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to football practice. Even though it's
Didn't
already
care.
starting, there was like 30 minutes of practice left or whatever. I'm like, I didn't care. I'm going. I actually do miss playing football. So that's when I came back and started playing again.
Hmm. That's what you said. That was junior year.
Yeah, because I don't. I'm trying to think, because I think we started pretty late in the summer, because remember that whole deal with our coach leaving? We didn't know who was going to be our coach. I think it got delayed a little bit. I could be wrong about that.
Hmm.
But yeah, and I think part of the reason why I wasn't going to play football is because I had a couple friends that kind of talked me out of it. And I kind of thought to myself, like, well, I don't really hang out with them that much, like during this time of the year anyway, so I just won't play football or whatever. But then I started to slowly realize that those two friends who were kind of telling me not to play football, I wasn't really going to be hanging out with them anyway. And I just kind of realized, I'm like, why am I listening to them? Like, clearly I do miss playing football. And as soon as I came back to that practice, I'm like, okay, I'm really glad I made this decision. I'm sticking with
Yeah.
football.
I remember bugging you to play. I remember like commenting on your Instagram posts, like
Yes.
comment 47 until Spartacus plays football.
Yeah, I remember that, actually. That was on like your old Instagram account too, and
Yeah,
then
that
you ended up making a
was.
new one, and now you don't have an
I
Instagram
can't
anymore.
find my Kindle. Yeah.
But yeah, those posts are, I think I archived them, so you can't even go back and look at them anymore. But yeah, obviously, I wasn't a great athlete in high school, but either way, I still enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Yeah. definitely memories you'll never forget.
Oh yeah, and if you're somebody who's like maybe in high school or you're about to get into school, or I don't know, if you're still in like, yeah, if you're still in school right now, if you want to try out for a sport but you don't think you'll make the team, just fucking do it. Honestly, like literally like Nike's like slogan, just do it. Like seriously, like you have nothing to
Yeah,
lose. And maybe if you don't enjoy it, then that's fine. You don't have to
yeah,
keep doing it.
exactly. Yeah, and if you want to play football, especially in a small town, chances are there'll be a lot more open arms.
Hmm.
Join in, you'll get to learn the basics of it. If you don't know anything, just go in, just have fun with everybody, study your opponent, watch all the film you can, watch all the tapes you got of all the opposing players, and you can get all those tapes at our local sponsor, uh, Darrington's home video with Chad. You
Oh
can go in
yeah.
there and get any sort of tape and video you want to get and use promo code landing to get 15% off your first order. And you can use those, study all the game film you can find. My personal favorite game film is Titanic. And after watching that, I knew that the Titanic sank, and I wouldn't have known that if I didn't watch the movie. So big fan. So, today's sponsor is Home Video Store in Darrington with Chad, some sort of name like that. Video Store Chad, you get it. Use promo code landing, 15% off any tape you want. There you go.
Yeah, just make sure you tell Chad to just bring our names up with Chad. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know them." Like, hey, Chad's an amazing guy. You'll definitely love him to death. He's like one of the best people from our
Nicest guy in the
hometown for sure.
world. Really is. I love that guy.
Hmm.
I'm
Um,
gonna get in contact soon.
but yeah, we're we actually this is I think this is probably been like one of the best conversations we have had in this podcast. Honestly, like especially when it comes to
Feels a
sports
lot more
talk.
genuine.
Yeah. And also, Tristan, I don't know if you realize this, but I don't know who was making all that noise in the background, but it's been going on for like the longest time.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
It's
that.
okay. I hope the listeners apologize. I mean, it's no big deal for me. Yeah. Where do you actually? Didn't you say are you in like your living room when you record this or something?
Yeah, my situation's a little condensed, but we'll build a studio and it'll be back to
Oh
normal.
yeah, we'll have a studio guy. I'm trying to think of like other topics we can just briefly say here because yeah, there's 50. Oh my god, 57 minutes. I know the other thing we were going to talk about was kind of more video game related, like other games we're looking forward to play, games that maybe you and I want to play together. So yeah, I mean, I know you're playing the Dead Space series right now. So how's that going?
It's a ton of fun, dude. I really like it. I think I'm on chapter 12 in Dead Space 2.
Mm.
I'm really liking it. It's a kind of thing like figuring out how to use the kinesis or kinesis. I think it's kinesis. I'm laying a big egg right now, but like using that and because I mean you use that to move things, move different items in the game, but you can use that to also you can use it to like stop enemies and have them go in slow motion and have an have a chance to shoot them or a better opportunity to shoot them and get their limbs off. 'Cause that's the thing, like some of the aliens move really fast, and that's the thing I noticed with Dead Space 2 compared to Dead Space 1. It felt a lot smoother, and it's on the game difference. Like Dead Space 1 was in 2008, and Dead Space 2 is in 2010, I believe. And it feels like an improvement graphics wise, and just that the buttons were definitely like the button layout was definitely different in the first one compared to the second one. You have to press different buttons in order to heal and do all the other stuff. I mean, it was definitely an adjustment, but it was an adjustment well made. It definitely became more convenient, especially like reloading your is it stasis pack. That's the thing that controls all the like your kinesis, because you have to use like ability in order to use that. You can't use it as much as you want, and in order to refill uh in order to refill it, you need a static pack or stasis pack or something like that. I don't know. I haven't put like I said, I beat the first one. I'm halfway through the second one. I'm definitely not an expert on it, but I'm just kind of getting the ins and outs. The pulse rifle is definitely my favorite one. It's not that good of a rifle when you first get it, but once you put a bunch of once you continue to upgrade it, and it ends up getting really good. But yeah, no, I really like those games. I think we should definitely look into the Dead Space games or even like the Fallout games. There's definitely getting power nodes. Those are what you use to upgrade your guns and your armor and all that stuff. You can find benches throughout the game, and you can use those power nodes that you can get on the wall, or you can buy them for like 9 or 10,000 points. But yeah, and you use those to upgrade your weapons. But it's a fun game. I really like it. And considering like the main reason I got into Dead Space was because I remember, I think it was Glenn Schofield. He was one of the people who made Dead Space. He was one of the head directors of World War II Zombies, and I remember how
Hmm.
excited I was for that. I thought it was going to be in third person like Dead Space was.
Oh, that would have been so cool if they did that. Oh my gosh.
I agree.
They should definitely have like some sort of like third person mode in Call of Duty. I think that'd be sick. I mean, I know we kind of have it with Warzone when it comes to driving vehicles, and when you're like parachuting from the sky, you can like hold that one like bumper or whatever to kind of go in third person. Blackout, I think, was also kind of in third person when you, I don't know if it was driving vehicles was in third person. I can't remember, but I know when you dropped in, like it was automatically in third person. But the games that I've been playing recently is actually the Halo series. So went through the Halo Combat Evolved game. I finished that. I just finished Halo Reach, and then I just started playing Halo 2, which has been really good so far. And Halo 2 and 3, I heard, are the best Halo campaigns. And so far, Halo 2 has been really good. And I actually am doing sort of like a walkthrough, playthrough type series here on my channel. So if you guys haven't watched those videos, then make sure you watch them, because nobody is watching them. No, literally nobody's watching him. And I really do appreciate if you guys would, because I kind of put in a little bit more, I'm going to say a little bit more. I'd say I put in a lot more effort when it comes to editing them, because I have to like cut up like an hour long footage to like fit like maybe like 10 to 15 minutes or something, whatever I try and make it out to be. But yeah, though the Halo series, doing a walkthrough on my channel, it's actually been really difficult to stay entertaining doing live commentaries. It's kind of the reasons why I don't really do them, because it's pretty difficult to make that kind of content. But I am stepping my feet in the door with that, doing kind of playthroughs with the Halo series, so definitely check it out. Halo 2 has definitely been a great campaign. Halo Combat Evolved, that game came out in 2001, and I know I'm playing it on the Master Chief Collection, and I know it's the anniversary edition I was playing, but for the most part, that game, thinking that game came out in 2001 is so impressive, because of the different types of mechanics and just gameplay elements that were just not introduced in the gaming world back then. I mean, Halo literally set the standard for video games back then, and there's a reason why it was so huge during its time, like especially when like Halo 2 and 3 came out and they introduced the Forge mode. I think Forge mode came out with Halo 3. I could be wrong about that, but that was also a huge deal at the time for gaming. And I kind of like, now that I'm finally starting to play Halo for the first time, I'm realizing, wow, there was a reason why these games were so popular back then, and I'm definitely noticing it now. Now, of course, obviously, if you compare them to like modern day games, you know, it's not really like that impressive, but you know, just you have to really remember when these games came out. And I honestly, it's story-wise incredible. Like I actually was just seeing a commercial on TV earlier today while I was on the treadmill, and they're coming out with the Halo series on Paramount Plus, and I think that would be so sick to actually watch and see how they handle it, because the Halo lore and the story that they created with each game is quite interesting. And so I think they can definitely do a good job with this new series that's going to come out. So I don't have Paramount Plus, so I'll have to like probably figure out a way to like get access to it and watch it. I hope it's going to be a good series.
You can use my account.
Fuck yes, let's go. And if you guys want to watch the Halo series, Tristan will go ahead and give you his account and password to all of you. No, I'm kidding.
All right, my email is, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, my social security number, no. But
Halo is so ahead of its time.
oh yeah, 100%. I know when Bungie left, you know, things kind of went downhill with 343 Industries creating Halo 4 and Halo 5. But I guess I'll have to like play those games and see how they turn out. But Halo Infinite obviously has turned out really well in my opinion. I know there's a lot of controversy around it when it comes to hackers and ranked mode, which is definitely a big issue. But also I know some people complain about how there's like not really a progression system in the game. The only actual progression system is the battle pass they introduced, which is definitely good. It's not bad, and I do wish they had like some sort of combat record and like some sort of area where they have your stats, like your kill death ratio and stuff like that. I think that would have been really cool. But obviously, yeah, there's definitely some things they can add to Halo Infinite, I think, to make it a lot better. But in my opinion, Halo Infinite is one of the most complete games I have played in years. And keep in mind, I'm somebody who mostly just strictly plays Call of Duty, so I don't really go out and play other games too often, hence why I'm kind of playing the Halo series. I'm trying to like expand my horizons now. I feel like I missed a lot of great games over the years since I started getting into Call of Duty, and so Halo Infinite, you know, comparing it to especially the Call of Duty series, definitely the most complete game I've played in years. And I know the game got delayed like more than a year. But it was worth it in my opinion. I think they did a
Absolutely.
solid job, and yeah, I know I just got done saying they could definitely add more features to make it a little bit more engaging, like different types of progressions, like an actual ranking system rather than just the battle pass progression, and be able to show off your rank and stuff like that. But I guess that's why there's also ranked mode too. But anyway, you get my point. So Halo Infinite, a solid game. The gameplay is like so great. I love the weapons they have in Halo Infinite's multiplayer. I have not played the campaign yet, obviously, because I'm starting from the very beginning with the Halo series. Either way, Halo, amazing series, and I cannot wait to actually get through Halo 2, see how that ends, and then head on to Halo 3.
Yeah. Are you into the Fallout games at all?
I've only played Fallout 4, and I
Mm.
never finished it because people spoiled the ending for me. So
I was gonna say we should start Fallout 4 from the beginning.
we should. I should still have the game. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I still have the game. I just have not played it
Or
in years.
you were talking about Bungie earlier. You could get into Destiny 2.
I played the first Destiny a lot. Destiny 2, I think I have downloaded, but I don't think I've played it yet. I've only played the beta, and I remember playing the beta, like playing the Crucible, which is like the multiplayer version of Destiny, and I just remember being like, wow, this is exactly like the first game.
Yeah,
Like I didn't feel
yeah.
like it was too different, and I just remember at the time when Destiny 2 came out, everybody was like, "Oh my god, it's so much better than the first game. They did so many different things differently." And I'm just like, "No, they didn't. It's literally the same game." But
Yeah.
it's not that it's bad though. I think it's definitely fun. It is, it is a very unique game in itself because it's an MMO, but it's like a first-person shooter MMO, and I think that's what makes it super unique compared to like other MMOs out there. But yeah, either way, Destiny. Yeah, maybe I will get into Destiny. I mean, I'll have to see about that.
Yeah, Destiny 2, I downloaded it like in 2019, didn't even play it, uninstalled it, and then a couple weeks ago I was at a friend's house and he was telling me they needed a sixth person for their raid. So I reinstalled the game, went on the raid with them. I had to do like the first like campaign, probably like the beginning of the game. And then after that I went on the raid with them and basically just had to stay alive. And then after that, I got rewarded like the best bow in the game.
Oh my,
I can't
oh
even remember the
yeah.
name of it, but it was like super. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about Destiny. I just got the game. I just started playing it a couple weeks ago, but it's been really fun. When it comes to games that are like open world and there's just like a million different quests, I have a bad time getting lost. But I've just been doing bounties and just little side quests here and there, just at least trying to level up and
Yeah,
improve more and just figuring out the dynamics of the game.
yeah, yeah, and that's one of the aspects of Destiny I really like. I'm kind of like one of those people who likes to do boss fight types of things. Like, I just got through the Halo 2 campaign where, oh my god, what's the frick his name? You're playing as the oh my gosh, I can't remember their names. It's the mission where you play as the Covenant character. I forgot the name they gave him when he wears that armor, but basically you have to go up against this other Covenant guy they want you to take out, and that was kind of like I think that was like the first, I guess, quote unquote boss fight they kind of introduced into the Halo campaign, based from playing Halo Combat Evolved, Halo Reach, and then going on to Halo 2. I noticed that it just kind of felt like a boss fight sort of scene. It wasn't really that like advanced boss fights, but Halo 2, I mean, not Halo, it's Destiny, definitely has like a lot of different types of boss fights, and I like how unique each enemy is, and I love games that have different types of boss fights, hence why I really enjoyed some of the different types of Easter eggs that were in Call of Duty Zombies. Like, for example, in Gorod Krovi, the boss fight where you have to take out a dragon, and then you have to take out Nikolai, who's in this robot. Like, that is like one of the coolest boss fights I have ever played in video game history, and it's one of the hardest too, for sure. And so boss fights in general in video games are I'm just a huge sucker for them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, always fun.
But that is pretty much going to conclude this week's episode on the Landing Podcast. I really do appreciate all of you listening in on this. If you're listening from Spotify, thank you so much. I'm trying to like advertise it more onto there. If you're listening on YouTube, awesome as well. If you're somebody who happened to like just find this podcast over on Spotify and you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, definitely make sure to check it out. It is the Spartacus 200. I try to upload videos every day. Obviously, they're going to be video game related, especially specifically towards Call of Duty. Make sure you guys go ahead and check them out. You got any other last words, Tristan?
Mm-mm. That was a good episode.
Yeah, I think this is a great conversation, and shout out to Max, for a last second. It was literally a last second decision having him on here on the podcast. But yeah, hopefully we can get some of the other past guests on here again, and of course get some new faces as well that you guys can listen to. So anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out on this week's episode, and we'll see you next week.
Love you guys. Shout out Max.